Michio Kaku. I believe that's how you say his name. He's a theoretical physicist. He was on the JRE. It's episode 1980. They're almost at the 2000s. I can't wait till he hits 2000. It better be Alex Jones and like Eddie Bravo on like episode 2000. It better be wild. But this guy, you're about to hear him talk about what he was doing when he was 17 years old. It's just really interesting to me, like just the things he was working on and doing when he was 17. And what it really makes me question is, how are there guys that are this smart in the world and we as a people don't have our shit together yet? It's really weird how we exist like that in such a contrast. Like, just wait till you listen to it. But before we get into it, of course, I'm going to talk about the Soul Not For Sale store. I am Coach Colin store. We got hoodies, we got shirts, we got t-shirts, we got women's V's, we got mugs. And we also have the anti-WEF line as well. And I am going to be coming out with many more designs as time goes on. I'm currently working on them as we speak. Well, not as we speak right now because we're speaking, but expect more in the very near future. Expect this store to be your middle finger to the establishment. I'm helping you. Great conversation starters. You can wear it when you go to Thanksgiving dinner, that kind of thing. Or maybe it's Hanukkah dinner, whatever you're into, you know? Maybe Ramadan? You guys do dinner Ramadans? I don't know. But every single purchase helps the channel, helps us fight demonetization, helps us fight against being limited in terms of our revenue. So thank you so much to whoever buys. And you're going to hear a code for 10% off. And if you're in the USA, a code for free shipping. Let's get right into the episode. This is Michio Kaku, talking about what he did when he was 17. And then we're going to go into a little bit. I love this. This is like Joe Rogan. This is the closest that Joe Rogan's going to get to interviewing a UFO. Just straight up.
Yeah, well, that changed my life. And then when I was in high school, I decided to take it one step further. And I decided to build an atom smasher, a particle accelerator in my mom's garage. So I assembled 300 pounds of transformer steel, 22 miles of copper wire, and I assembled a 6 kilowatt, 2.3 million electron volt betatron particle accelerator in my mom's garage.
In high school?
In high school, right.
Wow.
Every time I turned it on, I would blow out every single circuit breaker in the house. It consumes 6 kilowatts of power. My poor mom comes home, and she hears this pop, pop, pops out as I blow out every circuit breaker in the house. And she must have said to herself, why couldn't I have a son who plays baseball? Why not basketball? And why can't he find a nice Japanese girlfriend? How come he builds these machines in the garage? Well, that machine got me accepted to Harvard, and that began my career. That began my career as a theoretical physicist.
What were you able to do with that machine?
Well, I was able to create a magnetic field of 10,000 Gauss. That is 20,000 times the Earth's magnetic field. If you got too close to my machine, it would pull the fillings out of your teeth.
Really?
Yeah, so you had to be very careful.
What about objects that are close to it?
Scissors and things would fly in the air, right? So you had to be very careful coming next to my machine.
Oh my God! So compare that to, like, you can't even go near one of those scanners, those MRI machines, right? Magnetic resonance imaging.
That's right, MRI.
You can't have any metal near those, right?
Yeah,
but that's nothing like.
And they're about 10,000 Gauss too, about the same magnetic field as my machine.
Oh, okay.
So my machine is comparable to the machines that you see in the hospital today.
Wow. That's crazy. And you built that when you were in high school?
That's right.
Is that a photo of it? Well, that's a photo of one of those?
Yeah, that's the photo of it right there. You see on the left, you can see that's 22 miles of copper wire. You see the capacitor bank, a cloud chamber on the right where I photographed antimatter, because that was the whole experiment, to play with antimatter.
Wow.
And yeah, the cables are hooked up, and it's hooked up to 6 kilowatts that comes out of the wall socket. Drained every single ounce of power from my mom's garage.
Wow.
Yeah,
look at young Michio. Look at you, you handsome fella.
Well, that's the betatron particle accelerator.
That's amazing.
2.3 million electron volt generator of electrons.
So you were able to photograph antimatter with that?
Well, with the cloud chamber, yes, I was able to photograph the tracks of antimatter, tracks of positrons or anti-electrons that are emitted from sodium-22. And I proved that it was antimatter because they bent the wrong way in a magnetic field. Ordinary electrons should bend clockwise. These bent counterclockwise in a magnetic field. That proved conclusively that it was antimatter that I was photographing.
Wow. How old are you at the time?
Oh, it's about 17.
I was so dumb. I'm pretty dumb now, but I was so dumb when I was 17. That's amazing thinking you're spending your time doing this.
Right.
I was listening to Led Zeppelin.
And when I was 17, I was trying to figure out how I can sell weed. That was my thing. I was trying to figure it out. I'm like, how can I make some money? This is incredible. Just the fact that there's people who are this smart. Like, this is not one of those political episodes. I doubt they're going to talk. I mean, this guy's barely making eye contact. So I doubt that he is into any social issues in the world at all. He's constantly thinking about 100 years in the future. It's really wild, but it's a very interesting episode. It's episode 1980, and they just keep talking about stuff like this. And I'm only about 20 minutes into it so far, but I'm going to watch the whole episode and see what else there is inside this episode, because really interesting to hear this guy talk and to hear him and to see him make zero eye contact whatsoever. Just so smart, can't even look into the eye of a person. He's like a UFO, basically. He just said he was looking at antimatter when he was 17 years old. Like, it's mind-blowing. And then again, back to the issue that I was talking about before. And we have this guy who's this smart in the field of science, and then we have Joe Biden as president. It's just weird. It's just weird. I don't know. I'm not saying this guy, this professor could save the world. I'm not saying that. Not at all. But the fact that science is like, yes, this person's super smart, put him in this role, let's see what he does. And then in politics, all of us who are responsible, arguably, responsible for putting this guy in office, we're like, yeah, this is the best guy. Put him in charge. It's the weirdest thing. It's the weird how one field of work could be like, yep, pick the best person. Here you go, put him in. And then another field of work that is arguably way more important in the world. We're just like, whoever, man. Is that guy sleeping? Will he wake up? He might wake up. Put him in office. It's so weird. It's just so weird to me. Because as soon as I see a guy like that start talking, I'm like, how do we not have it together in all fields of work? Like, there's people that smart in the world. There has to be someone who's that smart in politics that exists. There has to be, right? Like, am I wrong about that? I don't know. I might be wrong. I might have no idea what I'm talking about, but I don't know. Just a very weird episode. I was watching the UFO episode that he did recently with James Fox, and this is, again, this is like him interviewing one of the aliens that James Fox was talking about. People like this are like you ever looked at like an octopus? And you're like, how is it, this octopus isn't from here? That's how I feel when I listen to this guy talk. Like, you're like Rick from Rick and Morty. Like, you know what I mean? He's like the professor from Back in the Future with the gray hair and the craziness. It's like, it makes no sense. He's literally a mad scientist. He literally has crazy gray hair, like a mad scientist. It's the oddest thing. And you know what else is alarming? Before I go? Is that it's guys like this that push technology further and further and further. And again, I'm gonna point out some things. The guy makes no eye contact. I'm not gonna say he's autistic or anything, but he just makes no eye contact, doesn't know social cues or anything like that. And these are the guys. These are the type of guys that we put in charge of technology, and we say, push it as far as you want to go. And guys like this are just like, well, we should just push it until human beings are no longer human beings. And we're like all just okay with that. We're like, well, whatever you say, man, you're super smart. Just go ahead. As far as you can. We have to put the chips where? Behind my eyelid? That's fine. Just keep going. Like, this guy's talking about quantum computing. Then there's another guy, Elon Musk. He's talking about putting chips in people's heads. Then there's another guy, OpenAI. He's like, I'm afraid of what I just made. It's like, why? We need somebody else who's a little more irrational to step in. I don't know. Episodes like this always trip me out. That's why I love them. That's why I watch them. I know this seems like so out of the channel, but it's like I talk about things that interest me, and weird guys like this really interest me. So check out that episode. It's episode 1980, and the code that you're looking for at the end is for 10% off at the store. I am Coach Colin. Oh, I know, a little bit too on the nose. I know there might be a new code coming out soon, and the one for free shipping is free USA shipping. If it's not that, because my wife just made it and she knows the things that I don't, it might be free shipping USA. One of those two is going to get you free shipping if you're in the USA. Other than that, I am out.